Hi, everyone. Welcome to our webinar, Top 20 Incentive Travel Destinations for 2025. Our globetrotting experts, including our panelists here, curated this list so that we're excited to have them share these destinations with you. We want to hear from you, so if you have any questions throughout the webinar, please submit them by clicking on that Q&A button in the Zoom bar. And without further ado, I'd like to present our panelists, Michael, Dawn, and Mary, and have them introduce themselves to you. Go ahead, Michael.
Hello, everyone. Michael Butler, head of sales here at the brightest incentive travel team on the planet.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dawn Bridges, and I'm an account executive here at Bright Spot, and we're just so excited to share this list with you. So thank you for joining us today.
And hello, my name is Mary Muldoon, and I am a senior sourcing manager here at Bright Spot, and we are excited to share with you our top list for 2025.
Thank you, panelists. All right, we're going to get started. So not ranked in any particular order, let's go ahead to our first destination, which is Maui.
So again, a bright hello and thank you, aloha and mahalo for those of you joining us today on our annual, and my favorite, top destination review. Thank you, Terris, for inviting me back. I really enjoy doing this every few years. Something here for everyone. So yeah, we start with Maui, supporting economic recovery off that horrible August 2023 fire that claimed 102 of our fellow Americans' lives. And we thought it would be great to pay homage. So here we go. Four Seasons, top left. I'll go clockwise. Always a great option in the Wailea area. You'll see we selected 3 properties here in Wailea. So kind of on the southeast side of Maui Island, and some great options. That Wailea Beach Resort just went through $40 million in renovations. They're in the Marriott brand. They were the first hotel property in Wailea. So you know what they say about the first thing gets the best piece of land. So they can definitely attest to that. They sit right in the middle of those 2 beautiful white sandy beaches. And then lower right, Grand Wailea. Love the pool set up there. I think there's 9 pools on 6 different levels. Something for every size group at these 3. And then maybe a wild card in Maui is the North Shore. For you golf enthusiasts like me, this Ritz-Carlton Kapalua on the North Shore, its own little microclimate, might get a short shower each day. But that, if you're not familiar, tune into the Golf Channel the first week of January. They host all the previous year's champions, and you'll see these vistas we're talking about overlooking the sea and the island off the coast, which is Molokai. So Maui, support economic recovery on the island. At IMEX last week, they were saying, re-exploring, rediscovering these other small villages have stepped up to welcome tourism in small groups. So we think it's a great time to promote Maui. And from there, we're going to take you to some domestic location, and I'm going to turn it over to Dawn.
Thanks, Michael. So yeah, let's head to sunny California and the continental U.S. for groups that prefer to stay a little bit closer to home, perhaps, and visit the beautiful destination of Santa Barbara. So Santa Barbara is called the American Riviera because its climate and geography is very similar to that of the Mediterranean coast. And here you will find lots of things for your groups to see and do. There are many, many parks within this area some of which they can even walk to from some of these different properties. Beautiful Spanish architecture, beautiful buildings, numerous things to do like wine tours. Certain times of the year they can actually do whale watching, hiking, and actually do some very fun food tours as well. So we love Santa Barbara. It's about 90 miles north of Los Angeles, but they also have their own airport. So Lyft is pretty good, and so it's easy to get to. The weather is usually quite lovely, and a couple of hotels just to highlight here. Really love the Belmond El Encanto. It's got a very cozy atmosphere. They offer a lot of live music, which is super fun, and their rooms are actually quite spacious. And then the Ritz-Carlton Baccarat, I had the opportunity to visit this property not too long ago. The views are absolutely stunning, as you can see in the bottom left there, just overlooking the ocean, and then a beautiful path to jog or walk along and just enjoy the beautiful scenery. So the American Riviera, you certainly can't go wrong, and that's why it has made our list for 2025. Next, we'll head to Mexico with Michael.
American Riviera, that's hard to beat, but here we go, the new kid on the block. If you're a repeat on our top 20, we appreciate you coming back this year. You know, we've promoted Los Cabos. We say here, geez, maybe more 5-star resorts in Cabo than any destination on the planet. But this new kid on the block, it's given it a run for its money. I'm going to start clockwise from the top left. Auberge opened last year this new Susaros del Corazon, which has a very interesting and awesome translation. I encourage you to Google it. One and Only, you're familiar with the One and Only brand. Can't beat it for these upscale and bigger budgets. And then Conrad, I mean, got their start with the son of Hilton and really a focus on service. So they fits right in there in Punta Mita. The Secrets Bahia Mita Surf and Spa Resort actually is a Dreams as well. So there is a family-friendly side of this property. And don't miss the fact that it's a surf and spa resort. So if your attendees are adventurous or even beginner surfing, considering to be a surfer, they could get some great lessons here right off the beach. Fantastic. And then the St. Regis Punta Mita shares a spot here with Four Seasons, the original landing spot for resort relaxation in the Punta Mita area, which is about 40 minutes north, flying into PVR up the coast of that Banderas Bay, where this point is, if you're not familiar. St. Regis Four Seasons sit on about a 15,000 acre property. The thing to do here is get in the boat, get in the water, and get out to these Marietas Islands. You see the hidden beach. Beautiful. You'll explore and experience the blue-footed booby bird, which is, I think, only available to see in one other part, maybe the Galapagos. So it's a UNESCO World Heritage itself, that Marietas Island. So Punta Mita, new kid on the block. And then from there, we're going to go to Big Sky. I think, Mary, it's you.
Yes, sir. So the sky is the limit. We've decided to include Big Sky Country in our list, and it's new to our list this year. Guessing some of you might even be watching the Yellowstone series, which is set in Montana, I believe. There might be a little bit of Wyoming in there. It's still on my watch list, but with that momentum, this destination is gaining traction to be an exciting upscale domestic option for incentives. Immersive group experiences here. You've got the national parks with the wildlife and wonder. You got tons of outdoor pursuits, fly fishing, whitewater rafting, UT adventures, horseback riding. And in the wintertime, there's still plenty to do here too. Skiing, dog sledding, fat bikes in the snow. So unless you're going there in the winter program, for a winter program, groups might want to consider Montana for late spring, early fall, like May, September timeframe. It's just in between the changing seasons. And so just moving on to the lovely properties, remarkable resorts that we're featuring here. In the upper right there, the resort at Paws Up. It's just 35 minutes south of Missoula. It's just a really wonderful, one-of-a-kind ranch resort and truly immersive experience. You can glamp, or you could stay in a wilderness home. There's cattle drives, under the stars, campfire cookouts, and their packages are really convenient. All your meals are included, and you can customize and upgrade those as well. And even for a more elevated experience, we just had a group here too, and it was a really successful program at the Greeno at Paws Up, and that it's 12 really kind of stylish modern cabins. Some are lofted in the trees, so you feel like you're in a tree house, and guests that stay there have some extra special privileges. To the a little bit further, about an hour outside of Bozeman, you'll find Montage Big Sky. It's a wonderful 5-star property, opened just a few years ago, covers everything your group needs, and the sweet spot's probably around 150, 200 people. They've got several restaurants and bars, a 5,000 square foot ballroom, lots of outdoor spaces, a great spa, and golf as well. And then just wanted to note on the lower left there is the new One and Only Moonlight Basin that's going to be opening next year. It's going to be One and Only's first ever build in the United States, so we're really excited about that. We'll have designer architecture, world-class spa, ski lodge, just a little bit smaller property with only 73 rooms, but they'll also have some villas. So yeah, sky's the limit in Montana. And I think next we're probably heading south of the border, yes, to Playa Mujeres. This area has really kind of been growing with some new all-inclusive, so we wanted to include them this year. And perhaps this is probably, a tertiary, a third option for you. If you've had groups to Cancun already, before, like the Hotel Zone or the Riviera Maya. So this is just, and if you're looking for something new and a little more exclusive, so Playa Mujeres can offer you that. All of these resorts we're featuring are adults only. The recently opened Secrets Playa Blanca is in the Hyatt Inclusive Collection, and the existing powerhouse in the lower left there is Atelier. I had the pleasure of going there too. They have secret doors with speakeasies and tons of different dining options for you, and a great pool and beach, as well as a golf club recognized as one of the top in that area. Plenty to do water sports, like you'll always find in Cancun, snorkeling and sailing, deep sea fishing, and groups can venture a little bit further south to do the cenotes and the water and the nature parks and the archaeological sites. But just keep in mind the transfer is a little bit longer to get there. So just communicate that with your attendees and make sure you have plenty of water and chill towels on your coaches. So across the channel from Playa Mujeres is just a short 20-minute ferry ride to Isla Mujeres, and more group adventures there. I think one of the most popular is probably swimming with the dolphins. And then on the island of Isla Mujeres, there's some newer all-inclusives that have come on the scene as well, including the Secrets Impressions and the soon-to-be opening Al Mare. So, yeah. Playa Mujeres is the ultimate sanctuary, white sand beaches and oceanfront infinity pools, top-notch amenities, world-class dining. So your group will have an unforgettable stay.
Sounds
And now over to you,
fantastic.
Dawn.
Thank you so much. So Pura Vida, everyone. We're headed to Costa Rica, which is just a wonderful destination. There's no doubt that you'll hear the saying Pura Vida quite often when you're there, which translated literally means pure life, but it's really more about their harmony and their well-being and just their harmony with nature and the friendliness of the people. So love, love, love Costa Rica. On this slide, we're actually featuring the Guanacaste area. In Guanacaste, there are quite a few properties to choose from. What's so wonderful about this area is it's fairly easy to get to from the Liberia airport. It offers beaches, it offers adventure activities for your adventurous attendees, things like ATV tours. Some of the best zip lining in the entire world can be found in this area. And also for those who just want to enjoy the beach or the pool, that can be done as well, and some amazing spas at some of these properties also. One of my favorites in the upper right-hand corner is the Ondas, Costa Rica. This property really incorporates wellness and it incorporates nature, and it's just a stunning property. You can see a lot of wildlife. And fun fact, this is actually the resort that is featured on Delta's safety video right now. So for the Delta flyers out there, it's been on for a few months, and at least as of 3 days ago, it was still on there. So you may want to keep your eyes open for this resort when you're flying Delta. But I will say that if you have already taken your groups to Costa Rica, don't dismiss it. Give it another chance, and maybe consider some of the other regions as well. We just had a very, very successful Site Southeast event in the Pacific coastal region of Costa Rica, which is actually known as the Green Coast. And there's also the Arenal volcano region, just some other areas that we can kind of guide you on as well. So Costa Rica, lots to see and do, and have some of that Pura Vida luxury. So with that, we will head to South America and to a really incredible destination, which is Cusco in Peru. So Cusco was once the capital of the Incan Empire, and it's really the gateway to be able to see the UNESCO World Heritage Site of Machu Picchu, as well as the Sacred Valley. And it's just an amazing experience for your foodies. Peruvian food, oh my gosh, it's so good. Carb lovers like me would be interested to know that there are over 4,000 varieties of potatoes in Peru. So lots of amazing food. The people are so welcoming and kind. One thing to definitely keep in mind in Cusco is it's at a very high elevation. It's about 11,100 feet above sea level. And so that's something that you just need to kind of understand. And there's a right way to move groups around, and maybe not as many other right ways. So we can certainly guide you on that. But if it's done the right way, it can be an amazing and stunning experience for your people that they will no doubt talk about for the rest of their lives. In Cusco, there are a few hotels that we really, really love. Two of my favorites are the Belmont hotels. They are near each other, and they are also situated in historical buildings, and they pump oxygen into the rooms. So that really helps with that acclimation to that higher elevation. So yeah, give Cusco a try and do something a little different for your groups, and they will love it. So next we'll head back to Michael and to Canada.
Thanks, Dawn. Terris, we know what your favorite destination is. Look at you perched above Machu Picchu. I love it. So, all right, Canada, European charm without the jet lag. I think one of the key benefits for your attendees and features of selecting or considering this destination. And we're going to put a little twist on this. You know, we at Bright Spot, we know your stakeholders, your attendees, they're, you know, give me sun in the fun every year. And you're like, no, change it up once in a while. So spotlighting the winter carnival in Quebec City. You see Bonhomme ice sculpture. He's their mascot. You'll run into him at the airport when you land. This carnival runs typically mid-February through early March. So definitely consider wrapping something around. Lots to do around town. Night parades, toboggan in town, right down to the old village. Live music ventures you can get VIP areas for. So the Hotel Chateau Frontenac, I mean, the queen of the city sits up top overlooking St. Lawrence River. You could take the funicular down to the old village, which is just at the base of the picture in the top left. And from there, walk out. There's a Nordic spa. In the winter, great activities like ice canoeing, climbing rock climbing on a waterfall, which is amazing if you haven't done. You actually hear the waterfall flowing behind, so a little eerie, but definitely adventurous. Stick to the Nordic Spa if you're not as adventurous. Lots of great options. And then that Parliament building, worth pointing out, we've done evening events there, just spectacular. The way they light that thing up from the inside out. They'll bring the mayor by, some of the Senate for your reception. And then if you have a couple extra days, definitely head up the coast towards Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, this other Fairmont, Le Manoir Richelieu, which is very unique. It was actually built over a century ago, and the front door is facing the river. They used to come by boat. So it is kind of set apart, still only a couple hours back to the airport, worth the trip. So let's see, from there, we're going to jump to the Caribbean, and probably my closest Caribbean destination, BVI, USVI. So the US Virgin Island, the British Virgin Island, fly into St. Thomas, great lift from the Americas, certainly from abroad international airport. Top left, we're going to start the Westin Resort Beach and Spa at Frenchman's Reef. Some of you may recognize that as the old Marriott Frenchman's Reef. So came back from the hurricanes in 2018, and they gave it an upbrand in the Marriott portfolio to a Westin, which is fantastic. There's a hotel within this hotel down along the beach is this Morningstar Buoy House Beach Resort. So from that picture of the Westin, look down the left side, that's the beach view out into the Caribbean Sea and the BVIs that you would see. 94 keys, a little higher end, kind of bungalows, I think, as I recall, with like 4 units in a villa. So great option there for a hotel. Within the hotel, if you do a buyout, you can put your VIPs and top winners down there. And then, you know, for upper budgets, we definitely want to point out this Rosewood Little Dix Bay. The thing to do here is get in a boat, get out into the Virgin Islands, explore places like the baths. I mean, give me an amen if you've snorkeled the baths on Virgin Gorda, or over to Foxy's and Soggy Dollar Beach and Joost Van Dyke for the original Painkiller. Love BVI, USVI, and it's all about renovations and relaxations, both coming out of the hurricanes there in 17, 18, I think they have back-to-back years, and then of course the pandemic years. And from there, we're going to go back to Dawn and another gem in the Caribbean, Anguilla.
Yes, so Anguilla.
Oh, Mary, sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay. So, you know, we're going to stay in the Caribbean here, and just wanted to highlight this wonderful island. It was on our top 20 list last year or this year, located about 200 miles east of Puerto Rico, offering direct flights from there to Anguilla. Also, same with Miami, and just about 10 miles north of St. Martin. And a common route for groups to get there is via a 20-minute ferry ride to reach the island. So just noting, when you are working your budget, you'll have that little bit of extra leg there for transfers just to get there. But once you're on the island, it truly is a place to relax and unwind. They've got gorgeous turquoise waters and pristine white beaches. But if your group is up for adventures, water activities rule, and excellent snorkeling opportunities and sailing opportunities, and you could explore some of the nearby islands and keys. You know, some activities you might want to offer your group, a Caribbean cuisine cooking class, maybe some conch fritters, horseback riding on the beach, or maybe even in the water with the horses, and fun island tours via mini mokes, which are the cute little open-aired buggies. And so the resorts we're featuring here just really are all proven 5-star winners. You really can't go wrong. The Bellman Cap Jaluka to the Four Seasons, Anguilla, and the Maluane, and the Aurora Resort and Golf Club. The Aurora actually was the host to this year's successful CMITE industry event, the Caribbean and Mexico Meeting Exchange. And so some of you might have even attended that. So just want to, for the right size, keep Anguilla on your list. It's a hot spot for incentives in the West Indies. Okay, back to you, Mike.
Here we go. European destination, good value for your euro. I'd probably change that to great value, Terris. I was there this summer, and you just can't beat Portugal. Flying to Lisbon to start, if you haven't got around. The whole country's the size of Indiana. You can literally rent a car and drive around in a couple days. But spend a few days in Lisbon. The culture's fantastic. We've got one more cultural slide here with a destination later, but not to be overlooked here. I think this picture is from just near the Roman ruins in Lisbon, overlooking the Alfama district. And then for a resort destination, can't miss with this Penalonga, which is just outside the city. So then you get day trips in and out of Lisbon. This Pena Palace, amazing venue for an off-site evening awards dinner. And then if you have a couple extra days, or if you've done Lisbon, consider flying into Porto, do Porto Gaia, each city opposite sides of that Douro River, and then head up into the river. Just unbelievable vistas from the top of these. I mean, it's Napa and Sonoma on steroids if you haven't been. If you have, you know what I'm talking about. It's really a great getaway destination. So if you're looking for a group that's maybe more intimate of a setting, check into the Douro Valley. And again, Portugal, great value for your euro. And from there, we're going to Ireland with a name like Butler. I'm not sure how I didn't get this one, but let's go to Ireland.
I don't know. Right. Well, Muldoon, I think I
Okay,
qualify.
there you go. Mary's
Okay,
easy.
thank you. So welcome to the Emerald Isle. Yes, Ireland, one of those true, like tried and true classic destinations from the bustling cities with the musical pub crawls and the whiskey tasting and the historical treasures to the lush countryside full of castles and manors and sheep and warm Irish smiles and maybe even a rainbow if you're lucky. So a trip to Ireland wouldn't be the same without a castle stay. And we love Adair Manor and Dromoland Castle featured here to the left. You'll really feel like royalty when you're staying at one of these places. They're great for group short stays, but even better for buyouts. So if the group is the right size, highly recommend it. In the Southwest, groups can experience the Lake region and the Europe Hotel and Resort, and nearby the famous Cliffs of Moher, as well as the charming Killarney, with working farms and horse-drawn carriage rides. So it's really kind of takes you back. In Dublin, in the center here, up at the top, one of our favorites is the Shelburne. It's an iconic 5-star landmark where the Irish Constitution was signed. And then just on the outskirts of Dublin, there's two really beautiful country estates, the Fairmont Carton House and the Powers Court, and these properties offer plenty of event spaces and wonderful service and spas. So really just a quick flight from most East Coast airport hubs to either Dublin or Shannon. They've got two international airports. It just makes it a real easy to get there. It's a great destination to consider. Ireland has so much more to offer. We just don't have a lot of time to get through it all, but you just got to keep coming back even if you've already been there. So sláinte, which means cheers. And on to you, Dawn.
Yeah.
We're heading to the Alps, yes?
Yes, yes. So we're headed to the Alps and we're headed to Switzerland. So Switzerland may be smaller than its neighboring countries, but it packs a powerful punch for incentive groups and has lots to offer. Switzerland's a year-round destination. So if your group is looking for winter activities, of course, skiing in the Alps, who could beat that? snowboarding and other winter activities, and then even spring, summer, and fall. It's a beautiful place. Lots of hiking, outdoor activities. We in particular love Lake Geneva and the Lake Lucerne area. And just to point out a couple of really great properties, this Fairmont Les Montreux, that's actually a historical property. It's got about 236 rooms and just is right there on Lake Geneva. Absolutely stunning. And we also just love the Bergenstock Resort. And I'll leave you with 2 words on that one. And those words are Alpine Spa. Can you imagine? So Switzerland, just a charming small country with lots to offer for your groups. And that's why it's made our list this year. So we'll head to another small destination, Michael, and take it away with Sicily.
Oh boy, another one of our favorites. In marketing, I see what you did here. Sicily, a hidden gem.
Yes.
Sicily, also known as the Pearl of the Mediterranean Sea, one of the 5 autonomous zones in Italy at the tip of the boot. We're going to highlight Taormina and then the West Coast for a minute, but man, Greeks, Romans, Arabs, Normans, French, Spanish, all came, conquered, and contributed to the influence of the culture here. So this place oozes culture. I mean, the Greeks, 8th century BC, that's 3,000 years ago, came into Taormina. And, it's home of the Teatro Greco. Who's been to Teatro Greco? What an amazing evening venue. Romans, 3rd century, so they get their sites, Odeon, Numancia. And then the Arabs built the Saracen castle and the Duomo of Taormina, which the Normans then turned into the Catholic cathedral. So, man, so much to do here. We spotlight the Mazzaro Sea Palace, which is leading hotels of the world, Mazzaro Beach, definitely on a boat into the Med Sea. The crystal clear blue waters are they melt you away. Grand Hotel Tomeo, 4 Seasons, obviously, for the upper budgets. And then on the West Coast, so all these in Taormina, East Coast Sicily, just off the tip of the boot of Italy. Go over the West Coast, couple hours, vineyards, lots of olive fields, orange fields, lemon fields, and this spa golf resort really set apart. So if you're looking for an intimate setting for your group, this Verdura Resort and the Roccoforte brand would be a home run. So yeah, Sicily, a hidden gem. And then we're going to take you to Prague.
So yes, here we are in Czechia, which is the formerly known as the Czech Republic, and the city of Prague. So arguably one of the most unique and beautiful cities in Europe. The majority of the infrastructure and the buildings survived World War II. So it just has really kept its beauty. It's known as the city of 100 spires, and really interesting architecture here, mix of Gothic and Renaissance. Prague's a really very walkable city, so your participants will enjoy that convenience. And we might even recommend a pop-up shoe shop gifting experience. So they'll get the wear and tear out of their shoes, out of their new shoes. And another fun way to get around the city is they have these trams and trolleys, so you can just hop on and off and explore the city really easily. There's a lot to see including the castle, certainly well known, offering a fairy tale atmosphere, the Charles Bridge, and the Old Town with its unique astronomical clock, just to name a few. Your groups can enjoy cruising the Lava River, biking at the town, and maybe partake in the art of glass blowing. And so beer spas, brewery tours, and pilsners abound here too. So if you're a beer lover, this is a great place to experience that. And then not far away, there's you'll find UNESCO World Heritage Sites and many other interesting historical cities. We've selected a few hotels here in prime locations in the city. They've got great service and amenities. The Four Seasons Prague is conveniently located in the Old Town district, and it has amazing views looking back towards the Prague Castle and the river and the Charles Bridge. You jump over on the other side of the bridge, you get the Mandarin Oriental, just steps from the Prague Castle, and it's housed in a 14th century monastery. So that's what makes that property really unique if you can fit your group in there. And then lastly, the Fairmont Golden Prague, which is soon to be opening, is back on the other side of Old Town, again, convenient walking to a lot of things to see in Prague. And then we just want to highlight here in the lower left-hand side for a truly special offsite evening event, might be a gala. We recommend the Lobkowitz Palace. They offer several beautiful halls to choose from, and you can even invite the prince for cocktails, and he will walk you around and showcase their art gallery collection. That's Prague. I think we're on to Dawn next. I think we're jumping a continent now.
Yes, yes. So here at Bright Spot, one of the things we really talk about is how to bring the sizzle and the wow to an incentive trip. And you want to talk about sizzle and wow? How about an African safari? I mean, on everybody's bucket list to see the big five, you know, the lions, the leopards, the elephants, the rhinos, and the African buffaloes. An African safari just is something that is really stunning and amazing for your groups to do. And so don't be intimidated by it. A lot of the safari camps are smaller, but there are ways to even take large groups to enjoy an African safari. We've highlighted Zimbabwe here, and one of the camps that we really like at the Anguilla, but also Zimbabwe has Victoria Falls, so another beautiful site to be sure and see and take your guests to when they are in this area. Outside of Zimbabwe, though, I mean, Africa is a huge continent, so there are many other places that you can consider as well. We really like Kenya and Tanzania, even South Africa and Botswana. So really, really an interesting and wow place to send your groups and have an amazing experience. So next we'll go with Mary to Dubai.
Yes, so bigger, better, and always evolving for sure. Dubai in the UAE. I was fortunate enough to experience this destination, Dubai and Abu Dhabi, a few years ago before it was, you know, when it was just coming on the scene, and truly a wow and an eye-opener. So, so much to offer for groups, new and old, cultural connections, mosques, local markets, to extreme experiences like float planes over the Palm Island, luxury yacht outings, off-roading in the desert, kind of dune bashing, and given a try at sandboarding. And they even have a an indoor ski lift, skiing. So I didn't get a chance to try that out, but I did do most of these extreme adventures. And like I said, it's a bucket list for a lot of people. I hope it's on your bucket list. It's truly remarkable. We're featuring a few of the properties here. The Burj Al Arab on the upper left here is part of the Jumeirah group, and you know, that's a pretty iconic landmark there in Dubai. That brand of hotels has several options for you, ranging in different budget sizes throughout the city. It's really kind of one of the local flavors and brands for groups that you can use. The lower left here is the Atlantis Royal. I believe Beyonce performed at this property at some point, and it's looking back towards the city. Most incentives probably are not staying in city center. They're staying along the water or on the Palm Island, which is where you're going to find the Four Seasons Dubai, the St. Regis, and the Fairmont, which we also have listed here. So just really a unique experience. One of the highlights really could be a campsite dinner out in the desert under the stars, and you've got, you know, camel riding or kissing if you want to try that. Henna tattoos, just great cuisine, great people, and you know, really will leave that buzz effect and FOMO.
Thank you. Dawn, you're up.
Yeah, so we're not supposed to have a favorite, but I'm going to tell you, out of all the places on this list, this is truly my favorite. Love Thailand. Right now, it's such a great value for your money. It's an amazing destination, and we really recommend doing a city and an island, so like a split destination program. We're highlighting Bangkok today. Bangkok is one of my favorite cities in the world. The Rosewood, which is this picture in the upper left, and also my background, has one of the most unique and most sought after rooftop bars in the city. And it's also centrally located to where you can easily get on the train and access the entire city of Bangkok. It's a foodie's paradise. If you love Asian food and your guests love to try new things and try Asian cuisine, tell them to pack their stretchy pants, because they're going to need them. It's an amazing place to try different types of foods and drinks. and just a cool destination. And then pairing a city with one of the islands, we really recommend Phuket. There are a lot of different islands to choose from, but on Phuket, there are many different resorts, and some have really a spa focus and relaxation focus. And then right off the coast of Phuket is actually a smaller island called U Noi, which is where the Six Senses pictured here on the upper right is located. So there are a lot of options. Don't let the distance deter you from considering Thailand. And like I said, right now, it's a very, very good value for your money and just an amazing experience. So yeah, after that, we'll head back to Michael.
Great. And Dawn, your background gave it away. I kind of had a feeling that was going to be your favorite. Cruising. Okay, so I've said it once, I'll say it again. At Bright Spot, our fresh ideas are always free, so call us. Fresh ideas are free. We love to recommend a wild card. We'll call it a wild card. Consider Quebec in the winter around their festival season, or consider getting out on the water. And what we think is one of the great features for your attendees is sampling multiple destinations through these cruises. We're spotlighting Royal Caribbean, their icon of the seas, pictured top left. Just amazing, the technology and infrastructure with this thing. It's really, to me, like one of these Manhattan towers on its side floating down the river or the sea. So something for everybody, over 28 different room product available. Definitely something for everybody. And then, the great thing about cruising too is your attendees get to sample multiple destinations and see which they like best. They're going to go back on a vacation in the future, and they're going to be thinking about you bringing them there the first time, which is going to just have that halo effect on the incentive. Silver Sea Cruises, personally, my wife and I, our favorite. We're not subject matter experts yet on cruising, but we're getting there. We've done about 5, so we've done one on each of these classes. This Silver Sea, about 375 staterooms compared to the Icon of the Seas, about 1,200 staterooms. So definitely a more intimate setting, more wide open spaces. Maybe the rooms are a little bigger. And then, river cruising, it's maybe not for every generation. So, check your audience. But these get up and down these rivers, no open seas. You get to experience these old quintessential European villages and the fjords and Galapagos around the island. So, or maybe that's more Silver Sea. But yeah, I digress. The river cruising is definitely a way to sample multiple destinations. Smaller sizes, these super ships to get under these bridges, usually about 50 to 75 cabins. So consider cruising. Done for the final one. And before you all go, if you drop your favorite one in the chat, we'd love to hear that from you on your way out.
Yes, please let us know. And last but certainly not least is Fiji. Fiji is an amazing destination. I had the opportunity to visit a couple of years ago, and the Fijian people are actually considered some of the happiest in the world. And how could you not be? I mean, just look at these beautiful waters and the beautiful sands. The people are so warm and welcoming. I think every resort I visited, they greeted us with song. They bid us good farewell in song. Just an amazing, amazing group of people and culture and destination. One of the things that was really a highlight for me was going down the river in one of these speedboats and actually getting to be greeted by the chief of a local village there, and participate in a kava ceremony, learning about the culture. It was just really, really amazing. And then, of course, you can't go wrong with a floating tiki bar, right? Which is the picture down there on the bottom. We do love the Intercontinental. It's a beautiful property and is a very group-friendly property, but there are lots of other properties to choose from, and the activities, your traditional water activities, but some of the best snorkeling in the world. I think this is the only place I've ever actually personally seen a beautiful purple starfish via snorkeling. So we love Fiji. It's on our list, and it's again, definitely last but not least, and something to consider for your groups for sure.
Thank you so much, Michael, Dawn, and Mary. We appreciate you presenting those destinations. As a reminder, we'll answer audience questions, so please take the time to enter those now if you haven't already done so. I know we're coming up on time. Everybody has to get on with their day. If you can stick around for the Q&A, that's great. If you have to hop off, that's totally fine. This is going to be recorded and sent out. So while we wait for those questions to come in, I want to point out that you can find more about this topic and others with some helpful resources, such as tips to improve an incentive travel program, and the top 20 incentive travel destinations page. Those links will be provided to you in the chat so you don't miss out on. All right, time for our Q&A. Let's see what's come in.
Yeah, I see one there, Terris. Any USVI 5-star all-inclusive? You know, unfortunately, the kicker there is US doesn't go with all-inclusive. Just haven't figured out that model. There's a lot to it. So unfortunately, there was one there closed down, probably even just pre those hurricanes I mentioned, 17, didn't make it. So yeah, unfortunately, none that we're aware of for true all-inclusive. What we would say, you know, and this is kind of a trend, not just in the Caribbean, other places, is explore a modified meal plan. Oftentimes, hotels will be open to your needs specifically for your group, and if that includes, you know, gaining some value through the food and beverage, it might come with some limitations, maybe limited room service or exclusions at the bar. But yeah, those things are negotiable, and our source team will be happy to help with that.
Here's another one. How can companies balance luxury and cost when planning incentive trips in a tough economic climate?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'll actually tackle that one. You know, I would say, you know, cast a wide net. Look at some of these destinations that we've mentioned that do offer really great value for the money. I know Michael talked about beautiful Portugal. I mentioned Thailand. There are definitely other places that we can recommend as well. And then another thing that we found in some recent research is that attendees are really, really wanting and seeking more leisure time. I think after the pandemic and just all the stress and the busyness, people just in general are wanting to enjoy things at a little bit of a slower speed. And so leisure time for the most part is free. And so building that into your program is definitely a way to save on your budget as well.
Great answer, Dawn. Thank you. All right, we have time for one more. What are the most popular closer to home destinations, especially within the US, Mexico, and the Caribbean, for companies looking to reduce airfare and accommodation costs?
Those are great questions. So everybody, you know, budget is inflation, and that's really important for people right now. So if we're talking closer to home, I do have to say that, you know, your sort of your beach and sunshine are still going to rule. So, you know, Florida, less any hurricane season time frame, you're going to find some value. You could find it depending upon when you are traveling, though. I mean, it could be Miami, South Beach, Fort Lauderdale, up to the Gulf Coast, Tampa, Destin, maybe even you might even find something in Amelia Island, and then jumping over on the other side of the states, even California, maybe stick it to the Southern California, San Diego, Coronado area. If you're you know, if your trips are family friendly, you might even try the Disney's. So Disney's always coming out with us, you know, something new. Just if you can, and maybe, you know, maybe you could still use it too. You don't have to have a family. You're just a kid at heart and you want to go and have fun. So you've got your southern, you know, southern states too, sort of your southern charm of Charleston and Savannah, or you can head to the mountains, Colorado, maybe, Lake Tahoe, even Las Vegas or Arizona. Mexico, I think we already hit on a bunch of places. I mean, Cancun's always, you know, pretty good value. You might find something, there's some things happening kind of in the Puerto Vallarta area. There's some properties that are updating theirs, you know, their properties, and there's some offerings coming out of that area. And then in the Caribbean, sort of your Dominican Republics and Jamaicas and Puerto Ricas are pretty value-driven destinations. So
Terris, yeah, great job, Mary. I'd add, one of our viewers pointed out, and I'm sorry I missed it on my Canada A slide for Quebec City, but great conversion value on the US to Canadian dollar. So basically getting about 30% more for your dollar across the border. So a great way to leverage budget, considering and selecting one of these amazing Canadian destinations. So thank you, Nancy, for pointing that out. And yeah, what do you got next, Terris?
So there's one that came in. Where are the new emerging destinations in Europe?
Wow, that's a great one. I guess I can start on that. I think we pointed a couple out. You know, I think Portugal, Ireland are still great destinations. It's interesting how these kind of start as second-tier destinations. We saw that in the States with Nashville a few years ago. All of a sudden, you can't get into Nashville kind of year-round. So same thing's going on over there. You know, as incentive travel goes back to farther versus nearer we've been preaching the last 4 or 5 years. These budgets are expanding a little bit, and they're able to consider these farther away destinations in Europe. So for emerging, I would say beyond Ireland and Portugal, we've got a new sourcing manager. Her and I were talking about one of her favorites, Slovenia and Ljubljana, one of these old medieval cities. You could get there from a train out of Nice in a hot minute. And you're in one of these medieval cities. So something like that. Croatia as well, up and down the coast, the land of 1,000 islands, so many destinations. Montenegro is another great 5-star resort there. So yeah, we could go on. I know Mary or Dawn, if you had a couple ideas for the viewer as well.
And I would say look at some of the less popular cities. So if your group is wanting to go to France, instead of looking at Paris, maybe look at Lyon or something like that.
Yeah. And all I was going to add was, there's, we're always looking at the islands too. So you have your Maltas and your Cretes. Mm-hmm. So there's some new properties opening on some of those islands, and, just great islands with history and things to do for groups too.
Yeah, great point, Dawn. One that I'd throw in the mix there is Northern Ireland. You don't think of Northern France. You don't think of Northern France as a beach destination, but it's in the news, 80th year anniversary of Normandy, and there's the Barriere Resort collection that's just a few minutes away, and kind of what you'd experience in Monte Carlo. Maybe the weather climate's a little different, but beautiful beach settings, and one of these up and coming destinations, great value for your budget.
Well, and you did say Northern Ireland too, which is another good option. And I missed Mallorca too. So there's some things happening in Mallorca as well. As far as another,
we got Sharon up in the Northeast, says Malta, another great island. I don't know if there's more than 5 days stuff to do there. Some may argue, but Sicily and Malta, great mix. You're right there off North Africa. Short plane ride from Taormina into Malta. Great idea.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. That's all we have time for today. We so much appreciate you stopping by and listening to all of our new destinations. I hope everybody has a wonderful day. Thank you.